Argentina, champions of the world!
Argentina is the reigning champion of the 2022 FIFA World Cup, and it is the birthplace of football icons like Lionel Messi and Diego Maradona. On the surface, it may seem like greatness comes from elite training fields and big-name coaches. But the slums of Buenos Aires tell a different story. I'm Clara Portela, and this is Aloud from TRT Global Podcasts. This show brings you TRT Global articles made for audio. In this episode, we have adapted the article titled Unidas, the women's soccer club that rescues values in poor neighborhoods of Argentina, by Agustín Golman, first published on July 9, 2025. For more than 20 years, Fernando Signorini, the longtime physical trainer of Diego Maradona, dreamed of creating a club that represented Argentina's low-income neighborhoods, a country whose greatest footballers like Maradona, Carlos Tevez, and Sergio Agüero came from these neighborhoods. But despite their global fame, the communities they came from rarely saw the benefits of their success. So, in 2018, Signorini founded Villas Unidas, meaning United Slums. The goal was to use sport as a tool for inclusion and social transformation in vulnerable communities. 7 years after its creation, they've managed to compete in the local professional championship. But the struggle was far from over. The club still does not have its own property, resources are scarce, and the players are unable to make a living solely from sports. For Signorini, the club needed to be a platform that provides young people with educational tools that will allow them to integrate and develop in society. He called in social organizations and educators, including César Luis Menotti, the coach who led Argentina to its first World Cup title in 1978, to contribute their knowledge to the training at Villas Unidas. Once the institution was established in 2018, they decided to compete in the women's football category and later include youth football. A year later, the Argentine Football Association took notice and invited the club into the Primera C League, the third division of women's football, where they have competed ever since. For Signorini, this was a fundamental step. This recognition would open new doors. It meant players could finally gain official status and access economic rights. Here's Signorini describing how he always wondered where the money generated from clubs without federation rights went.
Me preguntaba, ¿a dónde van a parar todo lo que producen los jugadores de fútbol que salen?
He further mentioned how the money doesn't return to the neighborhoods where they came from, and therefore, the idea is to bring that income back now. In a sport historically dominated by men, finding female players was not easy. Walter Gomez, one of the founders of Villas Unidas and the club's current president, recalls that they had to convince women that they could become professional athletes. He described how they went to search for them in their neighborhoods, particularly in low-income areas. He said it was very challenging for the girls, because many of them have to work, some have children, and it is hard for them to get to training. Villas Unidas now has a roster of 28 professional players. There are also other 90 athletes, both boys and girls, in the youth divisions. But the club does not only focus on football. For Gomez, social support beyond the sporting aspect was essential. The club offers access to healthcare, job placement, help with school completion, and access to subsidies for vulnerable populations. Football was the hook, but transformation was the goal. Gomez goes on further to explain how bigger clubs have other tools and resources that they don't have. They emphasize to the players the importance of an educational background, being good people, and never stopping dreaming, working, and studying. One of these players is Carla Zárate. She felt a love for football since she was small. However, she had never had the opportunity to play professionally. But that changed when a friend suggested she should try out for Villas Unidas. In 2024, she began playing official matches, and now, at 38, she is the team captain. Women's football in Argentina has come a long way, but it still has far to go. In 2019, the league was officially professionalized. Although the AFA, Association of Football Associations, has organized official championships since 1991, the female soccer players have faced prejudice and salary discrimination for decades.
todavía la brecha es grande, es enorme. No vivís
Gomez laments on how women can't make a living from women's soccer because salaries aren't enough, and many clubs cannot maintain professional standards. The former player noted that most of the outstanding Argentine soccer players come from working-class neighborhoods, so he considered projects like Unidas to be essential for restoring rights and opportunities to those communities. Even with the signs of empowerment and benefit to the community, the clubs are still facing financial challenges. The economic crisis that has affected Argentina in recent years is now hitting residents of the poorest neighborhoods the hardest. Many players have lost their jobs. Some can't even afford transfer to attend training. Gomez pointed out that previously they relied on state aid to sustain the project, but now it is very difficult for them to maintain it. Official data shows that there are over 6,000 vulnerable settlements in the country, housing up to 5 million people. Furthermore, women are disproportionately affected. Their unemployment rate is 6.9% higher than the national average. The efforts of the founders and the coaching staff, who contribute funds to continue their project, are vital. They say that they are doing everything they can to sustain their basic needs, like renting a bus during away games or security and an ambulance when playing at home. Despite all the odds, Unidas serves as a reminder of what football can be. When a club puts people before profit, the sport becomes a tool for opportunity and change. Even in a space long dominated by men, football can also belong to women and help them shape their future. That's all for this episode. Thank you for listening. This episode was an adaptation of an article on TRT Español.